Homicides are surging in Milwaukee in 2020, and that is prompting the return of a nationally renowned approach to reducing violent crime. Fox 6 investigator Brian Polson uncovers two key factors that derailed the Milwaukee Homicide Review Commission and what a pair of college professors are doing to bring it back.
Yeah.
The irony
He's on a dada kick today.
is hard to miss.
His daddy loved him so much.
When a 1-year-old learns the word
You say dada?
for a man he'll never see again.
It's very overwhelming.
21-year-old Justice Wamubu Haynes was a multi-sport athlete, state judo champion, cello player, and a graduate of Wauwatosa East.
He told me he was going to be the president one day.
His dreams of the White House ended outside this house on June 19th. 2 days before his first Father's Day.
I don't believe it sometimes.
His mother, Anina, is still shell-shocked.
When your only child is murdered, you instantly fracture.
The man accused of shooting Justice to death is Kendrick Banks, a 38-year-old with a long history of gun violence, theft, drugs, and domestic abuse.
That man shouldn't have been out here. There should have been some roadblock in his way to prevent his freedom.
While a pandemic, racial unrest, and calls for police reform have dominated the public discourse in 2020, deadly violence continues to surge. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office has already tallied 113 homicides in 2020, 105 of them in the city of Milwaukee, a pace not seen for nearly 30 years. And few people understand Milwaukee homicides better than Mallory O'Brien.
The goal was always to reduce the number of homicides that were occurring in the city.
O'Brien is an assistant professor at the Medical College of Wisconsin and the founding director of the Milwaukee Homicide Review Commission, which first started analyzing deadly violence in the city in 2005, looking for cracks in the system. For police, the priority is solving homicides and non-fatal shootings at street level. But for the Homicide Review Commission, their job is to look at the big picture and figure out why these crimes are happening.
Where are those opportunities where we could have intervened, we could have done something differently that would have changed the outcome?
That involves collecting data, reviewing case files, and most importantly, sharing the information with stakeholders in law enforcement, public health, and a variety of community organizations.
Law enforcement can't do it by themselves.
A Harvard University study credited O'Brien's approach with slashing homicides in targeted Milwaukee police districts by 52% from 2005 to 2007. So the U.S. Justice Department paid her to teach other cities how to do the same thing.
I got New Orleans to be first on the list.
Loyola professor Ronald Surpass was superintendent of New Orleans police in 2011 when O'Brien helped them launch their own Homicide Review Commission, a process that has since been replicated in dozens of cities from Oakland to Baltimore, Seattle to Cleveland, even Chicago.
At this time, when there's a conversation about what the police can and can't do and what they should and shouldn't be doing, Mallory was actually way ahead of that curve last decade, offering an opportunity for others to be in the battle to reduce murder.
We've proven that it works.
The Homicide Review Commission process has been invaluable here in the city of Milwaukee.
Former Milwaukee Police Chief Ed Flynn was a big fan too, at first.
It was really the only game in town, and I found it quite useful.
But as Flynn developed his own crime analysis unit at MPD, he became less enthusiastic about sharing data with O'Brien.
It kind of became redundant. We were producing the same data twice, once for use by Dr. O'Brien and once for our own use.
We had challenges with getting information that I think really hurt the reviews.
As police withdrew participation, funding also dried up. And by 2017, Milwaukee's nationally renowned Homicide Review Commission stopped reviewing homicides. Instead, police started doing their own in-house shoot reviews.
The individual that was tapped to lead those reviews was Captain Morales.
Until his controversial demotion last week, O'Brien said Chief Morales was supportive of bringing the commission's independent reviews back.
Over the last year, we've really been doing some rethinking.
And Connie Kostelak says this year's surge in violent crime has only added to the urgency.
I think it plays a huge part in it.
Professor Kostelek is the new director of Milwaukee's Homicide Review Commission, and this week she and a grad student plan to launch a series of public dashboards of shooting and homicide data, a first step, they say, toward a revitalized commission.
I truly believe that having data and having information to work with empowers people to be able to make change and understand more what's going on within their own community.
I don't want anyone to have to go through this. I don't even know how I'm going to get through it.
Anina Wamubu says the renewed effort can't come soon enough.
So that another mother's not sitting across from you having the same conversation.
She's still waiting for the courts to hold her son's killer accountable, but even that will be small consolation.
Justice was such a good person.
For a family sentenced to life without justice. Brian Polson, Fox 6 Investigators.
So what's next? Well, acting Milwaukee Police Chief Michael Brunson already signaling support for the commission's work. Through a spokesperson, he writes the department looks forward to continuing to work with the Milwaukee Homicide Review Commission to address the increase in homicides that have impacted our community.